AI wealth wave in 2025. Alright, let's just jump right in. You see the headlines every single day, right? New AI models, new companies, huge breakthroughs. But what if all that noise about the future is already creating a very real echo in our economy and in your wallet right now? We are going to connect those dots. So I want you to just think about this question for a second. We all tend to think of AI's big impact as something that's coming, a big wave on the horizon. But the research we are going to dig into today suggests the ripples are already here and they are quietly reshaping the entire financial world we are living in. And it all starts with this number, $200 billion. That's the staggering amount of venture capital that got poured into AI in 2025 alone. According to Crunchbase, that's literally half of all venture capital money, a massive jump from the year before. This isn't just investing, this is a full-blown modern-day gold rush. And just like every gold rush in history, this one is creating absolutely staggering fortunes. It's minting a whole new class of tech titans at a speed we have just never seen before. So let's take a look at who's striking it rich. Okay, first up, you've got Anthropic. They're the minds behind the Claude AI models. In just a single year, they raised over $16 billion. Every single one of their 7 co-founders became a billionaire. That's just wild. Then you've got the other side of the coin, the infrastructure. A company called Search AI is a leader in data labeling. Now that's the supercritical hardware of actually teaching AIs what they are looking at. Well, their founder, Edwin Chen, became the single wealthiest new AI billionaire with a net worth around $18 billion. It just goes to show you how valuable the data fueling all this AI really is. But this right here really captures just how fast this is all moving. The 3 co-founders of another data labeling startup called McCall. Look at their ages. They are all 22 years old and they are each worth over $2 billion. That makes them the youngest self-made billionaires of all time. This isn't wealth that's been built over a lifetime. It's being created almost overnight. So this explosion of wealth is just incredible. It's changing everything, but it really forces us to ask a super important question. Who is all this new wealth actually for? Let's pivot now and look at the other side of the story and see what the data has to say. When you zoom out and look at the bigger economic picture, something very different starts to emerge. It really is a tale of two incomes, and the gap between them is getting wider. Research from the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, it gives us this really stark visual. They studied 86 different countries and they found this incredibly clear pattern. As investment in AI goes up, you can see the income share for the top 10% of earners. It goes up too. But now look at the middle and the bottom. The slice of the whole economic pie actually gets smaller. The BIS paper really puts this in black and white. Basically, a standard bump in AI investment is linked to the income of the top 10% growing by almost $1,300, while the share of the income for the bottom 10% falls. The big takeaway here is that the wealth isn't trickling down, it's concentrating way up at the top. So why is this happening? What are the actual economic forces at play here? Well, the research points to a few key things. They are basically creating a kind of winner-take-all economy. The BIS study breaks it down into 3 main channels. First, there's a big structural shift away from old school manufacturing and towards these high-tech services. Second, there's this thing called skill bias change. And third, pretty simple, there's just less money going to human labor overall as AI starts automating more tasks. Let's zoom in on that second one for a minute. Skill bias technical change. It sounds a little academic, but it's actually a pretty simple idea. It just means that technologies like AI aren't neutral. Think of it like this. AI is like a massive power up for people who already have high level skills. A great programmer who starts using an AI coding assistant can suddenly do the work of 10 people. Their productivity just skyrockets, and so do their wages. But at the same time, the demand for other, maybe less technical skills might just flatline or even drop. Okay, so we've got a gold rush happening at the top, and we've got this growing inequality for everyone else. But this is where the story gets really weird. What if this simple expectation of an AI-powered future is already twisting our economy today? What if it's creating a race before the race has even officially begun? A totally fascinating new paper argues exactly that. It says a strategic race for wealth is already on, and the logic is actually pretty straightforward. If you believe that in the future having wealth will be the key to controlling powerful AI systems, then it becomes super rational to grab as much wealth as you possibly can right now. It completely changes how you behave financially long before the tech is even fully here. And you can actually see the effect right here in this graph from the paper. So normally you'd expect interest rates, that's the solid lines, to basically hug the real return on capital, the dotted lines. They should move together. But look at what happens. This huge gap opens up. The interest rates just spike and totally detach from reality. The author calls this the strategic premium. It's a sign that people are willing to pay way more for money today because they think having that wealth will give them power over the AI of tomorrow. Let's just boil that down because the numbers are pretty shocking. Without this whole expectation of a huge AI future, the model says interest rates should be a normal 3% or so. But once you factor in this strategic race for wealth, the model shows interest rates jumping to somewhere between 10 and 16%. That is a massive shift in our basic financial reality, and it's driven purely by a belief about the future. So let's bring this all back home. We've got a gold rush, a widening income gap, and this bizarre new race that's based on nothing more than expectation. What does this AI echo actually mean for your wallet? Alright, so here are the key takeaways. First, we have an AI boom that is minting billionaires faster than ever before in history. Second, the hard data shows this is widening the gap between the wealthiest and everyone else. Third, this is happening because AI really favors high-tech industries and high-skilled workers. And maybe the most profound piece of all of this, the simple anticipation of this future is already creating a strategic race that could be pushing up interest rates for all of us right now. And that leaves us with this final thought. If the race to control the future of AI is already warping our economy today, it brings up a pretty provocative question. Are we already competing in this race, no matter whether we even realize it or not?